Welcome for the part 2 of Serial for October 2024. As usual, I'm going to talk about the photos from last month, so I've divided into the series for these last 2 months just to make it maybe more entertaining through the months. I don't know, I might go back to once and for all Serial for the months, but anyhow, let's continue. Last month we finished the series with medium format film. So now we're directly continuing with something else digital. On the left, that's with, it's both pictures are taken with the M240 from Leica. It's a relatively old rangefinder digital camera. It's very specific colors, not very sensitive in low lights, but it's kind of, I'm not sure I really like that camera, but I actually have it. I don't feel I kind of like using it. It's pretty battered, so I don't feel it's sad to bring it in weird places. I'm not fondly affectionate of it, but I like it. Anyhow, here on the left, I'm using it with the TT Artisan 90mm f1.25 lens. A really interesting lens. It's huge. It's way bigger than the camera itself, but really has an interesting rendering. I'm testing it. I've been testing it for months now in order to make a video about it and say what we could do with it, in my opinion. And actually, I'm using it for some of my works. And that was a concert at Harpa, at the opera. Every month they have in Iceland, in Reykjavík, this Upraisen concert series where they show upcoming contemporary modern groups. So it's rock, it can be anything. And on the right, that's during a festival which was named State of the Art Festival. Classical musicians basically trying to go wild, and here they were playing in the nightclub with a DJ doing the beats. It was an interesting festival, classical, but really fun ambiance, really great vibes. And this one was a photo taken with a lens I'm testing right now, the Voigtlander 35mm Nokton Classic 2 f1.4 aperture lens. I'm not sure I like really the rendering of Voigtlander lenses, so I've started working with those just to figure it out, and we'll come out also with a video. Here, an example actually of, I'm trying to carry it along because the M240 is not that sensitive in low lights, and so 1.4 is pretty good. I'm not a fan of 35mm, so I like to confront myself to see if I can do something anyway. And yeah, here on the left, I kind of like that photo. I don't really know why, but that's in a business lounge in the Geneva airport. I thought it was an interesting composition. I don't really know why, but yeah, maybe I'll integrate it in some of my works. On the right, that was more interesting, in my opinion. That's taken from the window. I'm really front in an airplane. I'm basically in the cockpit, and that was in Vienna with this weird sky and this light. Because you're very front in the airplane, you actually see this sort of shadow from the headlights. I thought that the image was really interesting, and the rendering really, I kind of liked it. So same equipment, always this Voigtlander Nokton Classic 2. This diptych photo worked pretty well. That's in Geneva, basically, as I said, October. So you have those kind of low light Nokton looking, and yeah, starting to understand a little bit better the lens. It's kind of hazy in highlights, and the geometry I don't feel is that precise, but it's got lots of definition. It's got an interesting vibe to it. Here again, the picture on the left, you can see that actually the bokeh is kind of one of the circular bokehs. You can see it on the picture on the left, basically in the borders, and the vignetting is pretty bad actually in highlights in certain circumstances. But yeah, you can go for some pictures like on the right. I kind of like that picture because all of those guys have caps, and the only one guy who's in the middle of the scene, the bold guy with the green socks, actually has no caps. It's basically a caps, no caps situation. Kind of, I don't know, something interesting was in that picture for me. Again, same equipment, I'm testing it. You can see this really circular bokeh on the right. That's the Parc de la Grange in Geneva. The green colors, that's actually the sensor of this M240. It's not a camera I really like in terms of the rendering. I've learned to appreciate it, and actually like pushing the low lights up because you have those really weird greens and cyans that come out. I will probably do a video about the M240 and the M262, which had the same sensor. But for now, yeah, that's that. And those two sensors had a really kind of different way of working the colors out from the other Leica digital cameras. So it could be an interesting review. And on the left, that's a garden in Reykjavík, basically at the same time. It gives you an idea of how faster the cold has an effect on the vegetation. Then going to something else, I'm going back to this 90mm 1.2.5 from TT Artisan here on the Leica SL2. That's west of Reykjavík, a sunset. Yeah, I've been using this lens in many situations here. I'm trying to figure it out for one of my works. It's basically I'm in the same place. I slightly moved around, and as you can see with the boat slowly going forwards towards the sun. I don't know which picture I prefer, actually. I'm working on it. It's for a series, but maybe you can give me your opinion. But I think the one on the right is obviously more dramatic with the sun behind. But the one on the left is kind of interesting. There's something different. You still have the sun with those rays coming down through the clouds. I don't know. Maybe give me your opinion. I will be doing this review on the 90mm. When you zoom into the picture, the sailboat, this small tiny dot you see here, is really well defined. It's a really incredible lens, even so it's really very heavy. Here, same equipment, and just to show that here I was doing for a workshop a friend was giving, I was taking pictures to document the process and her work. That's a flower ponding and textile, how do you say, coloring, let's say, dyeing workshop. And yeah, trying to restitute, to give the sensation of what was going on and the results. And this is a great lens. It's 90mm f1.25, which I believe was probably meant for portraiture originally. Works very well in a huge number of situations, and that's just an example of the rendering. This incredible bokeh, very precise, very nice to use actually when you get used to it, to the weight of it. And I only basically work with manual focus lenses, and it's really nice to use. And here again, two pictures of that workshop and trying to restitute the actions, what's going on, the ambiance. Yeah, and I think, yeah, I will definitely work more with this lens and give that review soon. Here, going back to Leica M240, Northern Lights. I've shown you in this month some pictures of Northern Lights, handheld, no real modification of the file. That's basically what I do here again, but with an older sensor. And just to say that those Northern Lights, when they're energetically strong, you do see them in the city. Here I'm holding this old camera. Basically, I'm at 1/15 of a second, no stabilization on this camera or lens. Here the lens is an old Jupiter 8 Soviet era 50mm f2. You've requested that in some previous comments in the other videos in the past months. So I'm focusing a little bit on those Soviet era lenses, which I've been using for years. So yeah, interesting rendering. It's basically, I think, a Zeiss optical composition, but this lens is from the 60s. And as you can see, it's moving quite a bit on the right. But it's part of the charm of having those Northern Lights as they are. I try not to modify the contrast and the saturation of my images like often one will do to make the Northern Lights come out stronger. Yeah, anyhow. Here are two pictures with different equipment. Again, on the left, because you asked me to look at Soviet lenses. Here I'm with the Jupiter 3 lens. It's also a 50mm, but it's an f1.5. It's a different optical construction. And that's on an M240. And I really kind of like the rendering of this lens. I don't think it's as defined. There's something less precise than the Jupiter 8, the one we saw before, but I'll be doing reviews for both of these lenses. But what I found interesting here is I had my Pentax 17. I'm doing the final tests, the final films for this review, this lots of months and lots of films review. I don't know how many tens of films I've done with this Pentax to really try to understand if this camera makes a good sense for an investment today. it's a great product, by the way. Pentax really did something great. But yeah, I'm comparing, and here that's with a Russian film, a Tasma SFL T-25. It's 125 ISO film, which was obviously I probably stored it in a bag for a long time, carrying it along, and you have all the dust in the first frames. But I really like how different those two images are in terms of the story it tells. Because of the equipment, because of one is film, the other not, the details, the artifacts, the dust, whatever. So there's a good the black and white, the color, anyhow. And the lens on the Pentax 17 is fantastic, by the way, except that you don't have access to manual aperture. Yeah, that really sucks, or speed. But anyhow, here again, that's continuing with the Pentax 17. I've got a few pictures to end this month with using this old Russian film. Again, in the first shots, that's one of the beaches, the black sand beaches of Reykjavík, of the western part of Reykjavík. Works great, really an old school feeling, but more detailed. Even so, it's a half frame camera. You really have loads of detail in the lens. The film, that's another story. Here on the left, that's Geneva, same equipment, a little bit further in the film, so less dust. The Pentax works pretty well in terms of exposition control, even so you have non-manual except compensating. And honestly, it's not very, well, I'll talk about it in the review, but there's a few things that are not very convincing on the camera, even so it's a great tool. And on the right, that's the Reykjavik Bay. Yeah, it does a pretty good work of maintaining the right expositions. And here, two last pictures for this month. On the left, that's a sidewalk with dead leaves. That's in Geneva. Using the flash. I'm not convinced also of the flash of this Pentax 17, but in certain situations, you will get some interesting stuff by using it. And on the right, that's simply a capture with the sunset through a window with this textile in front of it. Anyhow, this Pentax works pretty well, and just wanted to share some of those pictures right now. And that's all for this month. So maybe next month I'll do only one video for everything, but we'll see. Post me your comments if you have some questions, suggestions. As you see, I do follow some. Sometimes it takes time, but you've requested more Soviet lenses. I'll go for that. And the reviews will come when they'll come, but they'll come. Thanks for hopefully enjoying this entertainment, and catch you next time.